Hi everyone, I'm here to tell you all about the ICE home learning pack that we have sent out to you. In here there are 10 literacy lessons, 10 maths lessons, 4 independence lessons, 4 science lessons, 4 design and technology lessons, 4 creative arts lessons, 4 PE lessons, 4 understanding the world lessons and 4 ICT lessons. The work in these is differentiated by colour. All of you can do the green, most of you can do the blue, and some of you might be able to try the purple if you're feeling really clever. In our literacy lessons, we are exploring different fiction texts. Fiction is when a story isn't true. It is a made-up story. And these stories are Polar Bear, What Do You Hear? The Polar Bear Hunt, which may sound very, very familiar to a story that you already know. There's a sensory story, which is Snow Bear, and also ice poems. You'll have the opportunity to do some do-disco and some phonics as well. There are also tasks which explore non-fiction texts. Non-fiction texts are texts that give you information. They might be a story that is true. They might be instruction manuals, recipe books, information books. They're things that give you information in some kind of form. One of your tasks will involve creating an igloo. Now, igloos are houses that are made of ice. Do you think it would be hot or cold when you live inside an igloo? What clothes might you need to stay warm? Do you think that we could build igloos and live in them in this country? Why do you think that? Now, if you're going to give the purple work a go, you'll need to write a list. When you're writing a list, it's really important to remember that each item goes on a different line. So for example, if I'm making a cake, I would have number 1 on one line with the word flour next to it. Number 2, sugar. Number 3, butter. Number 4 would be eggs. Now, the Polar Bear Hunt story is based on the bear hunt, which I'm sure most of you probably know. Now, it's a little bit different though, because we're going on a polar bear hunt and not a bear hunt. So listen to the first verse of the story. We're going on a polar bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one. What a beautiful day. We're not scared. Uh-oh, a snowdrift. A big, tall snowdrift. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. Oh no, we've got to go through it. Scramble, 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 scramble. Now, all the instructions for that story are in the home learning pack with all of the different words that you may need. So, your task in lesson 4, because we know that the polar bear hunt is a different version of the bear hunt, is to try and write your own version. You can choose an animal that's based in a place that's full of ice. You might want to choose a jungle. You might want to choose a desert. You might even choose your pets. But there is a book called The Lion Hunt that might give you some information. If you go onto YouTube and look for the book The Lion Hunt, it might help you. Now, we're also going to have the opportunity to do some do-disco, as I've already said. When we're doing do-disco, there are lots of different moves that you can use. You might want to look for songs that already have the moves on there, or if there's a song that you really, really enjoy listening to, you can make your own do-disco to it. So you might want to roll a ball. You might want to splat it. You might roll a sausage. See how fast you can do it? Who can make the longest sausage? Think about all that different language that you can bring in. You might want to make a pizza, so what you do is you squeeze it, roll a ball, squash it down, ooh, and then you go nip and pinch and ah. You might want to play the piano. Just use all of your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, when you're doing it, you need to change hands and make sure you use both of your hands. You might want to have some fireworks. So you start with a pinch like this on your dough and you bring them up. And as you bring them up, open them out really wide and say, whee! Whee! What kind kind of firework sounds can you make? You might want to pinch it. Ow! 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 And the best one is squeeze. Can you be strong, man? Show me your strong man face. Well done. Now in lesson 10, you are going to be making this and creating a presentation about an animal that lives in the snow and ice. You can share this information however you like. It might be a poster, you might want to make your own information book, it might be a PowerPoint presentation, or you could just talk to your adult about it. It's entirely up to you how you want to present that information. If you are writing it, you are making a non-fiction text. Now we're going to move on to maths. In maths, we are starting with number recognition and writing numbers in lots of different ways. So in lesson 1, we are making ice creams and snowy pictures by colouring in the pictures and matching the numbers to colours. So you're doing a colour by number. You will need crayons, felt tips or colouring pencils for this. In lesson 2, you are using ice cubes to write numbers. You will need to freeze some colourful ice cubes the night before, either in ice cube trays or containers. To make the ice colourful, just use a couple of drops of food colouring to paint the water and freeze it. In lesson 3 and 4, you'll be practicing your counting. If you're feeling really clever, you could try the purple activity and do some addition sums. In lesson 5, we're looking at measuring. You might use words such as longer, shorter, longest, shortest, tall, tallest. Who's the tallest person in your house? Who's the shortest? Maybe you could find out that information as well. In lesson 6, we are getting busy in the kitchen and you will need some ingredients which are listed on your information sheets. Now this recipe is to help you with your measuring and also means that you'll have a tasty treat to eat afterwards. In lesson 7, we are counting backwards, and if you're feeling really clever, you might want to create some subtraction number sentences. In lesson 8, you are identifying shapes around your house. These might be 2D shapes like squares or circles or triangles. Or you might want to look for some 3D shapes such as a cube or a cuboid. And I did just have a cylinder. I've just thrown it down the side of my sofa by accident. In lesson 9, you are doing some more measuring, but you can't eat this recipe though. You need it for lesson 10 to make your repeating patterns. Now, repeating patterns are when you have a pattern that does the same over and over again. So for example, you might have red, blue, or yellow, green, blue, yellow, green, blue. They make the same pattern over and over again. Moving on to creative arts. In creative arts, you'll be exploring art in lots of different forms. In lesson 1, you're going to create a snowman, but not looking at it straight on. You're going to be looking at it from the top down. In lesson 2, you'll be making a blow paint picture. If you find that your paint is too thick to make a good blow splodge, then mix it with a little bit of water before you put it on the paper. In lesson 3, you'll be painting to music. The music is by a man called Antonio Vivaldi, and he was born in Italy 300 years ago. Have a listen to his song, The Four Seasons, and find out, have a think, how does it make you feel? In lesson 4, you'll be making a collage. You can use any materials that you have in your house: paper, foil, kitchen roll, glitter, paint, fabric, anything that you like, and make your own wintry picture. Next, we have design technology, and these lessons are another opportunity for you to be creative. In our first lessons, we are going to make a snowman bowling game. It doesn't matter if you don't have paper or plastic recyclable cups. Use anything that's stackable to stick your snowman face on. Just please make sure it's not breakable. In our next lesson, we are going to become igloo architects. Architects are people that design buildings. Remember that I said that igloos are houses made of ice. You're going to need ice cubes for this lesson, and you may want to build it for your Lego figures or dolls that could live inside it. In lesson 3, we are going to make a snowflake mobile to hang from your ceiling. I wonder how many different shapes you can make. For the last lesson, you'll need an old sock. Just make sure that it's clean. There are a few ideas of what you could do on the lesson plan. You can make your own snowman, or even a heat pack. If you make a heat pack, please make sure that you have an adult to help you, and don't leave it in the microwave for too long. In our ICT lessons, we're exploring a range of technology that we use in our house, things that we use every day, such as TVs, mobile phones, washing machines and tablets. These weren't around 100 years ago, and they possibly weren't even, some of them weren't even around when your adults that you live with were little. Maybe you could ask them about what's different now to when they were little. You're going to use a paint program in lesson 2 to make your own winter pictures. What do you think you'll draw? Now, whenever I think of winter and ice, I think of snowmen. So maybe you could draw a snowman. For lesson 3 and 4, you're going on an Alaskan adventure. Now, Alaska is a very cold place to live, especially in winter. You will need access to a website on a laptop, computer, phone, or tablet and explore all of the games and information. In your independence lessons, you will be making lots of yummy creations. Now, remember, it's important that you try to do this and help, and make sure that your adults only help you, because you need to be trying to be as independent as you can. In PE, you'll be using your body in lots of different ways. Ice skating, polar bear yoga, snowball fights. You'll need to use your imagination because you are going to go on lots of adventures. For the PSHE lessons, you'll be taking it in turns with your adults or anyone else that you live with. For lesson 1, can you play an ice-themed game of I Spy? You need to be taking it in turns. In lesson 2, you'll be choosing the best clothes to wear in winter. Will you need your swimming costume in winter? A scarf? What do you think you might wear? In lesson 3, you'll be making mindfulness bottles. Be careful, it may get messy, so make sure you wear old clothes and protect the floor. In lesson 4, you'll be turn taking again. Who can pin the snowman's carrot closest to his nose? Now, have you ever heard of Albert Einstein or Marie Curie or Isaac Newton? They were all famous scientists. We want you to put your thinking caps on and become the best scientist that you can be. Scientists have an interest in the world around them, and that's what you're going to do with your science experiments. In lesson 1, you're going to look at ways of melting ice. At the minute, scientists around the world are looking into why our polar ice caps are melting. For example, where the polar bears live, their habitats are being destroyed, and they think it's because of global warming. And global warming is caused by pollution, and it's heating the world up. So things like cars and electricity and factories and aeroplanes and lots of other things are to blame and are making our world hotter than it ever has been. Scientists are working on ways to cool the Earth down again and to protect our planet. You're going to run an experiment to see what melts the ice the quickest, and do you think that maybe you could write a letter to the scientists to explain what you've found? In lesson 2 and 3, you're going to make snow fluff and slime. Please be careful and wear old clothes and protect your floor. Finally, you're going to find out if ice grows. What do you think will happen? In understanding the world, you're going to learn lots of things about places that are cold. Did you know that penguins and polar bears have never met in the wild? Polar bears live in the Arctic and penguins live in Antarctica. There are lots of lovely and exciting activities to be doing at home. If you're stuck, please ask your adults for help. If they're not sure, they can ring the school. When you come back to school, please bring any work with you that you've done. If you have photos, these can be emailed to your class teacher. If you email them to office@ellesmere.leicester.sch.uk, that's office@ellesmere.leicester.sch.uk with your teacher's name on, then they'll be forwarded on. Stay safe, everyone, and we will see you very, very soon. Bye.